everyone, it's Nancy. I am here to do a VR to a topic that came up on Gerald at TarotStache's channel, where he was having discussion about the 7 must-haves in reading decks, and I'll put the hashtag down below. And it basically was a system that ranked what 7 things you like to have in your cards or want to have, and how important they are. Like, I'd like to have it, but it's not a make or break, or no, this is absolutely vital. And basically it used a system of 1 through 7, with 7 being the one you needed the most and 1 being the one that was a little optional. And then you're supposed to add together the points you give in each category and see how each of your decks kind of fits in there. I'm not going to get into math too much, but I did want to give you the 7 things that make a difference for me with the deck. One of them, the top one, I'll just start from the top: art. I have to love the art. You know, it has to be something that just really resonates with me. This is the Hannah Joust, this is the Dream Visions, and this is the Ink Witch. You know, all different kinds of art. I can't tell you, you know, it has to be this kind of art, but I have to love the art, and it really has to be something that I want to keep coming back and looking at, because I very much use my decks to look at the art, to bring them out and flip through them. And, you know, I read for myself, but I don't read for others that much. So the readability, the quality isn't as important to me as the visual quality that I enjoy looking at the deck. So that's number 1, is the art. Number 2 is the cardstock. And I think tarot, for me, in addition to being a visual medium, is a tactile medium. One holds the cards and moves the cards around, and I'm not much of a shuffler, so I can't tell you the cardstock has to be shuffleable for me. But I like it to be of good quality, substantial. I don't really like high gloss cardstock. Anything that's too thin or flimsy, Llewellyn cardstock, I don't like. However, I can get, like the Ink Witch is a thinner cardstock, a little, you know, better than make playing cards, but I don't mind make playing cardstock. I like linen. But then there's a stock like this that is a matte finish. Very nice. This one's a little glossy. There goes the cat. But anyway, I had a few decks out that I'd pulled to refer to. This is the Daniloff Tarot, and I just need a decent cardstock. That is the second most important thing. If the art is beautiful, the cardstock's great, that's 2 of the biggest things for me. If that all works, and the other stuff, we'll see. Third for me, so we're going down 7, 6, 5. This is 5th, 5 points total for this category. I'll call recognizability, and that means, can I tell what the card is? Can I read the title? Is that a nice big font? Is it a good font, a clear font? If not a font, are there a certain number of things? Look with this Dream Visions, the titles are very minimal, but there is a 5 there, and those are clearly cups. And the mood of the card is clearly 5 of cups. So I don't really have to see 5 of cups in big print, but I can read what this card is very clearly and very quickly. Whether it's the image that tells me exactly what it is immediately, or the title and how clear the title is, how well it's done. Shimmering Veil is one that I'm a little challenged by, because the art is kind of abstract, and then it just has like the element symbol and a number very small in a corner. And so if I can't tell from the image, excuse me, kitty, what it is, because it's a little impressionistic, and I don't have a title, and you know, it throws me. I love that deck. I love Silicon art. I don't mind the art being kind of abstract as long as there is something there for me to grab a hold of and say, this is that card, and think of, you know, very quickly, this is that card. So that's the third most important. The next most important, it's a category I'm calling stinker cards. If there's a few cards in the deck that I don't like, Anatomical Hearts and the Three of Swords. If they're done a certain way where I'm like, ooh, you know, every time I see it, every time I flip to it, I don't like it. Sometimes there are ones where, I don't know, I can't say deformities, but the people are such that it throws me off. When I first see them, they're either creatures or, I don't know how to define this. I just know the Marielle has a few like that. That every time I see them, I'm like, oh, that person looks weird. I don't know, it's throwing me. And it's just a very subjective thing. Just, I'm sure you all have in some cards, some decks and cards that just, they don't appeal to you for some reason. So I'll call those stinker cards. Now I'll show you in the Johanna Joust, which I love the art of. It's just beautiful art, beautiful color palette. This is the jumbo edition. But then it has cards like this, which look to me like a cartoon, and they don't go at all with the art style elsewhere in the deck. And there are about a half dozen like this. It's just like a graphic novel thing in the middle of these beautiful nature images. And whenever I get one, I don't like it. However, there are other things in this deck that override that for me, and there are other decks where it doesn't override. Stinker cards. The size of the deck. Example, the standard tarot size is fine. I like little smaller decks because they fit in my small hands better. I don't mind a larger card as long as you know, I can flip through it easily. It's easy for me to do that because, again, that's pretty much the way I shuffle. I like elongated cards with a different perspective, or even square cards. Anything with an unusual shape I really like. But then there's decks like Le Tarot Noir. That's more of an oracle size card, and I can't even flip through it easily. I have to sort of take one card at a time, because it's so big. And I love the deck. If somebody would do Le Tarot Noir in a tarot size with matte stock, I would love them forever. And I love that deck. I won't give it up, but it does matter to me if the size of the cards is unwieldy to me. Okay, so that's size. The last two, colors and borders. There is no black and white about this. I don't mind decks that have less color. This is basically sepia tone with the ink witch. I don't need a deck with lots of color like Danilov. So there is no right or wrong with color, no color, not so much color. But is it used well? Is it not consistent? So that when I look at the deck, there's suddenly these glaring cards where it's like suddenly we're in pink and everything else is blue, and it's not a elemental thing. It just, you know, certain cards stick out for me. The Ellis Tarot is like that. I just find card to card and suit to suit, they don't go well together because of the color scheme, basically. So the color has to be well done. And there are instances, again, going to the Joust deck, where the color palette is one of the things that sold me on it. These purples and greens and blues, and they're consistent across the deck. Just really, really beautiful. So anyway, and the colors of the backs also, are they just totally different than the cards themselves? Do they have a totally different mood? That throws me too. So color. Borders, same thing. I have no issue with the borders on the Danoff. They're appropriate. They frame it nicely. I have no issue with no borders on the Dream Visions. It works with that art. That art would not be well served by a border. That art is well served by a border. A deck that has just a bottom border with the title, when it works with the deck, it works with the deck. It's great. When they don't work, when the borders are really garish, not the Four Elements Tarot. There's another one where I had to immediately cut the borders off because they were so distracting, and they muddied the artwork. You couldn't really see the artwork well. So badly done borders bother me. But that's pretty much one of the lowest ones on the list. And to be honest with you, the one that I didn't mention, and I'm not sure where I'd put it, is pips. Not like, I love Marseille decks. I don't mind some variation on that where there's been some thought put into the pips. But you see a lot of, like, from movies or television shows or whatever, where they have beautiful majors and then the minors are like an afterthought. We just threw 5 cups on here. And they're just cheesy, they're not well done. That bugs me. But you don't see that all the time. So I didn't choose pips as a category to say pips, no pips. There are illustrated pips versus just symbols. But that is sort of another one that I could have included in the list. But anyway, that's my rundown. The art is the most important, then cardstock, recognizability, stinker cards, the cards that just bother me for some reason, the size of the cards, the color, use of color, and use of borders are the things that are important to me. So that is my rundown. I'd love to hear what yours is, or if any of these were resounded in your estimation. And you guys take care. Talk to you soon. Bye.